All right. Welcome back
What's
to
up?
another episode of In the Green Bets. John Deere Classic this week coming off the Travelers. Xander back in the winning circle. Uh, been a while, I guess, unless you count Zurich, but not counting Zurich. So good to see him get the job done, even though he kind of didn't try to choke it, but he also was looking like he was going to lose another one. Thagala decided to skull it into the face of the bunker and then have to lay it out and make a double and lip out a putt. But either way, good to see Xander get a win. Having some technical difficulties from what I can gather with Grant here, but uh, either way, Travelers is a fun tournament every year. It was cool to see kind of Xander and Cantlay rise up to the top of what was kind of an average field. Burns really put the screw on us a bit and one and done, but Xander at least birdied the last stuff that got us a two-stroke margin, which was big time.
I don't know what just happened there, but I lost connection there for a minute. But I'm back. We're good. Yes, two-stroke margin. What a choke by Sahith. Xander gets a win when the players start to leave for another tour. Huh? Is that a coincidence or not?
Yeah, I don't know. It sucks that between Xander's last real win and this one, I probably bet him like fucking a million times, and then I bet Spieth instead of him basically at ultimately very similar number. And Spieth, I don't even think he made the cut. So, but you'll have that.
Yeah, I
Some
didn't
weeks.
have a very good week, but I mentioned betting Webb at the 30 and then betting his outright, which was actually it turned out to be pretty good because he was only 5 shots back going into
Yeah.
Sunday, and finished in the top 20, which was good for me. Other than that, the NBA draft saved me. I had two bets that hit the Sharp under and the Dyson over. They went 7 and 8, so what a bet that was.
Yeah.
Kind of saved me for my week. I tweeted out and add those things. I paired it with Spieth. Unfortunately, Spieth shot $1 billion over on the first day, and that was thrown out the window immediately. But not a terrible week. And we have this week. I don't really know what to think because we could either hit somebody huge or we also could get every single name wrong.
Yeah, the last time we had a field, it wasn't quite this bad, but it was similar. I hit JJ Spawn 160 to 1. This is
Oh yeah,
definitely one of those weeks where you can hit a nuke guy, and this is maybe is the worst field because there's just no top guys. I mean, Berger was gonna play there for a bit, but now he's WD'd. Everyone's WDing, and now we have 10 to 1. Adam had one.
that's really not good for 10 to 1. 10 to 1 Adam had.
I mean, John Deere Classic, kind of a home event for us, a couple hours away. TPC Deer Run. I've played TPC Deer Run. It's largely underwhelming. Uh, Conditioning is nice for the most part. Greens are super nice, but it's just kind of your run of the mill. Parkland kind of, I don't know. There's a couple cool holes, but for the most part, it's just kind of really well conditioned golf course in bumfuck Illinois. But either way, it's typically a massive birdie fest. We've seen a bunch of guys who putt their ass off win here. Stricker and Zach Johnson and Spieth and Ches Reavie. It's one of the courses that driving accuracy, while it's not going to kill you to get in the rough, like you're probably not going to make bogey. It's important to be in the fairway because you just have to make so many birdies. You're going to hit a bunch of wedges, so your good wedge players, obviously your good putters are going to be important. I read a couple PJ Splits, I think, tweeted this out. Some quotes from like past winners and guys who played well here, and basically all of them said the greens are so perfect that, and obviously bent is a bit easier to read and putt on, that like everybody just puts really well, and particularly like the really good guys because they're good at reading greens. Obviously, a little bit more consistent on the greens. That once you get it started on the right line, it's just going to go right in the bottom. So I'm definitely going to lean towards some putters. Ultimately, I think this is probably mostly a stay away week. Take a few bombs with outrights if something really strikes your fancy in derivatives or matchups. Go there, but yeah, it's a bit of a punt for me this week given the field and the odds that go with it.
Yeah, we try to be selective on not just adding guys for no reason, right? Like you got to kind of convince yourself of the bets you're going to make because There's a chance you could get absolutely wiped at an event like this, just with how many guys are in play. Adam
The
had
whole field, in my opinion, basically the whole field is in play. I mean,
I haven't seen
there's no tier above anyone else.
I think we got a couple alternates today, but yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah. Obviously, like the bottom half, like the bottom 25% is probably not, because they're just like they don't play that often. But like the top, the first 105 guys are probably all in play, because they're 1 week from just making everything on the greens, and they're all good enough ball strikers eventually that they can have it figured out. Who the hell knows? Obviously, there's guys playing better than other guys, but this is a total crapshoot for the most part.
Yeah, I was looking at the past leaderboards. Michael Kim flirted with 30 here. He finished at 27, which is interesting. So you obviously have to make a ton of birdies.
I shot like 86 that day.
86.
Yeah. I played so fucking bad, and this course is so easy.
Some of the names, just to kind of give you a vibe of what these leaderboards look like: Munoz, Power, Libiota, Ryan Moore, CH3, right? Glover, another guy we've seen play well here. HV3, Damon, Mitchell, Streelman, right? Some guys who are just good from short yardages. We're going to see a very similar type of players this week.
Yeah. Ultimately, this is the dangerous week. I would say go super light. Be ready to have a bunch of guys you like miss the cut. Definitely also, go back.
The field next week is loaded, so it's okay to take a little bit
of Scottish looks like super fun week. That's next week, and then Open Championship. Obviously, that's why the field is so shitty. I mean,
right?
John Deere finally got out of being the first the week right before the Open, but unfortunately, now that the PGA and the DP World Tour are strategically aligned, and now further strategically aligned after today's press conference, a lot of guys, even more guys, are going to go play the Scottish. So it is what it is.
4th of July weekend too. Maybe drink some beers and take a like a little bit of light week. Maybe throw some bombs and then just worry about fireworks and beers after that.
Yeah, maybe you get lucky on a deep guy, and could be a good week for some each ways on some like super bomb guys
matchups.
But the one other thing I'll say before we get into a few guys is it's another one of those courses where guys typically play well year over year. Like I'm looking at Zach Johnson, 3rd, 1st, 2nd, 2nd, 3rd, with another 5th. Ryan Moore's always done well here. Steve Stricker, like guys will play well multiple years. I don't know I wouldn't say necessarily fits certain types of players, but I would say guys who hit a bunch of greens and then just give themselves a ton of looks is probably the type of guy that you're looking for.
We've also seen some Midwest guys play good here. Some guys who are used to playing.
Definitely, I think it's a bent thing to me, and like the style of golf course. So like Strick obviously is won twice. Zach Johnson's won twice. We've got a local guy we're probably interested in this week. So, well, let's look at some odds and see if there's anything that we're interested in ultimately.
The odds are not good. Let's just start there. You have a lot of bad players priced really low. So below 25, Figala ends that group at 25. Who are you interested in?
None of these guys here don't even consider it. Like they don't. Like Adam had one. I don't think has a single one on tour. Webb has not played. He's played okay, but not very good for the better part of the last 2 years. Seabass doesn't win. Howell hasn't won in forever. Denny hasn't won. It's start lower. Just don't even. I know they could win, I suppose, but there's no difference between Seabass and any of these guys, honestly.
Right.
So I'm probably not honestly going to bet the Gall at 25, but that's maybe the first person I would consider, mostly just because of his form and the fact that he's proven that he can make a shitload of birdies. But that's not where I would start at all. And honestly, my card will be super short. I don't mind Todd at 35. He's been playing good. Didn't play great last week, but played well here last year or in his last time here. I'm not sure if it was last year. Hardy at 40-1. That's a terrible fucking number considering the number of PGA Tour events he's played, but he's been playing some very, very good golf since that. He talked about the U.S. Open. He had an injury, and ever since he's been back from the injury, he's played a lot better. But I think you've got a guy in the 40s here that you like, and I think that's a good place to kind of start.
Yeah, I like Cam Davis at 45. He's 14th in my model, proven winner, which is nice, and he can put on a ball striking clinic, which is also something which I was kind of looking for here. Obviously, you have to get it with a putter, but the kind of step one is giving yourself those opportunities. His approach game has been really good, top 10 over the last 24 rounds. Ball striking in the top 20, as I just said. Also, putting has not been too bad. Total strokes gained, he's in the top 25 over the last 24 rounds, which I really like. Top 15 in birdies, we're going to make a ton of birdies. We've already kind of mentioned that. And when you go look at his name, if you can click on it there for the screen, if you go look at his bent putting, his bent is his best surface by far. So I really like that about Cam Davis, and I think that's where I'm going to start at 45.
And he won Rocket Mortgage or 3M.
He won Rocket Mortgage.
A Midwest tournament played on bent. So, then that doesn't always hurt. I like his upside in the sense that, he's proven that he can win a golf tournament. And that's not a horrible number. John Huh's been playing super good, 45-1. I mean, super good for John Huh. Has a little bit of success here. Ches has a win here. I'm not opposed to him at 45-1. He topped 10 last week, so maybe he just kind of finds it for a couple weeks here. And we've seen a bunch of repeat winners here, so I'm not opposed to that. We both don't mind Champ at 55. He's popped on some shorter courses, 40-fest courses. I couldn't tell you what his form is. I kind of don't give a shit with Cam Champ because it can pretty much come out of anywhere with him. So, he's one of the guys that so streaky, doesn't really matter.
His form as far as modeling his different things is really, really bad. He's got 4 missed cuts in a row. But when you're looking at stuff like this, you're trying to take guys with the talent, and he clearly has it. We've seen him do it. And for some reason, he plays well in short courses. So why not play him on a short course in an absolutely horrible field?
Yep. Poston 55 isn't a horrible number. Played good last week. Has the putting ceiling that we're looking for this week.
Yeah,
he has played shitty here.
He fits that. Like, he's a good putter, and all of a sudden the greens are easier to read. He could go nuclear putter.
He has won a PGA Tour tournament also, so that's a thing. Adam Schenk, I think I had bet at like 100-1 last year, and he was like kind of in the hunt for quite a while.
He's been good here. Past performance has been great here.
I think he finished 6th and 4th the last 2 years. Fratelli is a previous winner. Not really interested in him. Svensson has played well here and has been playing some decent golf lately. Kind of fits the mold as a guy who, if he could run a hot putter, he could win. Bond's been playing decent this season. Obviously, he's had a couple good runs. I think he has some good play here. And then we're just getting into just take your pick. Lipsky popped in my model. Sam Ryder has had a couple decent rounds recently, a couple okay finishes in tournaments. I mean, you could take Zach Johnson at 100-1 just purely based on the fact that he's a million top fives here. But
when we were talking before the show, I did some modeling on putting from 5 to 10 feet because I think that's going to be a pretty popular range this week on guys trying to make birdies. Some names in that group that we just mentioned: Svensson, John Huh, Todd, Adam Long, Cam Davis. Those are all guys we've mentioned, all guys who've been trending pretty well in the sense of making birdie putts. So I think that fits. Also, those could be some par saves too, which always helps when you're trying to contend and not go. You never want to go the opposite direction.
Not in a tournament like this. That's
right.
A fact. I'm looking here to see if there's any guys that are playing well recently that we should be considering.
Brandon Wu at 150. If you want to take a dart, he's a guy who just played well on I think that was a super easy course, right?
There's a lot of guys that have a bunch of MCs here, but Hayden Buckley has a couple good finishes, and his game, in theory, fits this golf course in terms of like shorter hitters. And
Brandon Wu, the name I just mentioned, his best 2 finishes in the last 3 months have been Puerto Rico and Mexico Open. So obviously they're out of the country, which makes sense, but at the same time, terrible fields and easy score conditions. Guys like that have a chance this week.
Yeah, so I mentioned Sam Ryder. I know this doesn't look great, but 35th, some good finishes here. Um, Chesson Hadley is actually kind of sneaky. Like he didn't play obviously for a few weeks there. 5th last week. We saw
Yeah.
him pop at Congaree last year with making a bajillion birdies. A couple okay finishes at this tournament.
He's also a
I
really good putter.
You could take Ryan Moore. He's made 2 cuts in a row, and obviously he's been super good here. I mean, you could do way worse than Ryan Moore, I would guess. Matt Wallace has shown a little bit of form. Seems like a guy that's capable of winning. It's a pretty much just throw a handful of darts at the board and hope one kind of
What
hits.
is Austin Cook's number?
Marty Laird, 13th last week, couple decent finishes here. His putter is probably prohibitive of him winning because he's a fucking awful putter, but um, I kind of sneaky like Svensson. Trending the right way recently, 18th 2 years ago. Kind of models the right way for me, what I'm looking for. Chris Gotterup, young guy, just come out of Oklahoma. He was like NCAA Player of the Year. Played, I think, pretty good last week, right? Yeah, 35th. So
35th.
an improvement. Made the cut at the U.S. Open, which is always nice to see. 7th at Puerto Rico and like a second start. So you could probably do worse than him at like 140 to 1 or whatever he is. I don't know. You typically don't win that early, but he was also like the best college player. We saw Wolf come out and win like right away on an easy course like that. So he's used to, making a bunch of birdies on, college golf courses. So
Name I just mentioned. This is a 300 to 1. I want to mention it just in case somebody wants a super bomb. Austin Cook at 300. He gained 9.6 strokes putting at RBC, and bent is his best surface by far. So he's made 2 cuts in a row, which is okay. But at the same time, we just need some guys who have some super fire in their hands and can unleash. And he's got that.
yeah,
He showed it. So he's a dart that you could maybe talk yourself into, because once you get down here at the bottom, there's not much to look at.
it's pretty bad. David Lingmerth, he's been hurt for a better part of like the last 4 years, but he was leading the U.S. Open like through 40 holes. He is like a borderline midget. He's super short. He doesn't hit it very far either, and is a very, very good putter. If he can pop for 36 holes of the U.S. Open, he can probably pop here. I have no idea what his form is like here. I didn't even know he was in the field, if I'm being perfectly honest. Pretty bad form here, but
But we didn't talk about CT Pan. I kind of like CT Pan at 55 too. I forgot.
I was betting CT Pan for a while earlier this year. It was going pretty well, and then he's kind of petered out a bit, as CT Pan tends to do.
His 55 number is not the worst thing ever. He gains on bent, which is nice. He was really bad on Bermuda, so it's clearly something going on there. His irons were really bad last week, but before that, he hasn't lost strokes with his irons since February.
Yeah, very good. That was when I was betting him.
Yeah, so there's really good. He'd be maybe more of a placing, but I do like him this week.
34th in his history at Deere, so it's pretty ugly. What I would say is like find somebody who's made a handful of cuts in a row and that is typically a better, like the putting is their strength, and go from there. I mean, we even see like Matt Wallace at 130 is intriguing. He's made a bunch of cuts, and he's definitely a talented guy. He's kind of in his own head a decent amount, but
what we got here? Oh,
just checking on some putting stuff. Gained a couple his last 2 putting to make those cuts.
Scott Brown is a good putter. We didn't mention him, and his course history is really, really good here, so he'd be another one.
Brownie's one of those guys who like he shows up in the islands and then a couple random courses. I have no idea how he still has his tour card because he's largely sucked for like the last basically his entire time on tour. But I think he won Bermuda or Puerto Rico. He has 2 seconds at Genesis somehow. That makes absolutely no sense. Look at his putting that week. Holy shit. But he does well in these Birdie Fest events. There's a 5th at John Deere. There's a 4th at John Deere. So, if you're ever going to play Scott Brown, this is the time to do it. So, any derivatives that you're particularly jazzed about?
I haven't looked at the 30s numbers yet, but I like more Adam Long and Ryan Moore 30s. Let me pull that up real quick,
though. Brendan Todd 2-1 for a top 20. Svensson plus 260. I don't mind. Poston plus 260. I don't hate.
I'm a little hesitant on 20s this week. Tell you the truth, I'm gonna be a little hesitant on 20s.
Rightfully so. Smotherman plus 330. Zach Johnson plus 330. Ryan Moore plus 350. Those two guys obviously have some serious pedigree here. So those are pretty decent numbers. I know they're both washed up, but
he's 225 top 30. So I would suggest that over the 20.
Who?
Ryan Moore.
Yeah, probably a bit safer.
Adam Long is 110, which is not a great number, but I do think he plays well this week.
Matchups.
Yeah,
that's just a fucking coin flip because anybody could go nuts, but anybody also could just miss the cut.
This is not the week to fade. This is more so the week to pick guys you like. Because fading here is impossible because all these guys are so unpredictable. It's not, you can't fade a person. That's just against the rules. Like that's not how fading works. So, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough.
Nothing like obviously stands out to me. Todd over Jason Day. Like I don't understand why Jason Day.
Jason Day is probably the biggest name in the field.
I assume he's playing because he's gonna like lose status if he doesn't like get some fucking points here. I mean, he hasn't barely played, and he hasn't played good when he's played.
Right. Adam Hadwin is the favorite over Webb Simpson, but plus 105 in the matchup against Webb Simpson. So if you want to take the the odds against yourself or against the matchup, there would be probably a good idea.
Jason Day is bad.
Long over McCarthy, I don't mind that. Long's the dog in that. I think he plays well this week. I just kind of mentioned that. Thigala is the dog against Jason Day. I'm 100% betting that.
Who?
Thigala over Jason Day, minus 110.
I like that. Cam Davis over Seabez. I don't know how much you like Davis, but he's a minus 108 underdog
too.
I mean, Seabez makes a lot of sense for this course. He's just priced like super wrong, but
yeah. Stallings over Patrick Rogers. I know Patrick Rogers has got some hype, but I like Stallings this week. He's a dog at Patrick Rogers minus 103.
John Hutt over Griot. Obviously, this could be a Griot course, but I don't think Griot's been worth a shit lately.
He's been horrible. I just tried to bet him a couple weeks ago, and he was god awful.
Yeah.
Unless he played well that week, he might have, but other than that, he's been terrible.
You can get Nick Hardy over Jason Day on FanDuel as a dog. At least Hardy has played golf and made cuts.
Hayden Buckley over Andrew Putnam. Hayden Buckley minus 103. He's been actually pretty good and can make birdies. I kind of like that too.
And good short course guy.
Yeah.
Or in theory should be. That is all I am really seeing. It's pretty fucking bare.
You said Huh over Lanto or Huh over who?
Not Lanto. Somebody worse than Lanto.
He's minus 114 over Lanto here. I know Lanto could play well too, but if you like him,
Griot. Huh over Griot, minus 118.
Yeah. Let me look up Griot real quick before I commit to that. Griot's putting has been atrocious. Shocker.
He had a couple okay finishes there.
Oh, yeah. So back here at the players on, that's when I started looking into him, and then he was god-awful. And then he kind of came back a little bit.
And the putter is
be careful. Griot kind of pops in events like this. You got to be a little – although he's more of like he's kind of like a fall cold weather where they go offshore type of guy, I think. But that's all right.
Yeah. He's definitely done some damage on the islands. I'm from sorting this. You know, Island Swing Grio's keeping his tour card.
Yeah, if you look at like his finishes, like Puerto Rico's
Puerto Rico, OHL,
Corral.
Bermuda, Corrales. It's
It's a bunch of stuff like that. Puerto Rico getting the players, but I would pick guys you like. That's my advice this week for matchup: is don't fade. Pick guys you actually like.
Let's see who I have available for one and done.
This
Pretty
is
much the whole field. I think Jason Day is the only player in this whole field that I have picked.
I have the entire field besides Adam Hadwin, which I'm totally fine not having. I picked him at the Valero Texas Open, and I think
I had Day at Pebble Beach. He was in like fourth going into the final round and finished like 40th.
Hadwin got me $300K, so I can say thanks to him for that. I am interested in Adam Long. I'm interested in Scott Stallings. I'm interested in CH3. I'm interested in this whole little group right here.
CH3, definitely. Webb and Thagala.
Party Marty at 50?
Hell no. I'm probably just going to take Webb and hope to God that at least he'll give me some cash and can move on.
What place are you in right now?
38th.
I'm in 85th, so I need to win. I got to get creative. I mean, Webb's not winning, right? Webb's not winning the tournament.
He has as good a chance as anybody.
What is Webb's birdies?
I'm $1 million out of the money.
That's a good putter, though, so that's what kind of worries me.
I mean, no one has a better chance than Webb to win the tournament, in my opinion.
And he did good by me last week.
He made top 20 last week.
He's never played here before?
Played here once. Got like 18th, like 10 years ago.
Well, it's not even in the database.
No, it was 2010. He finished 21st.
I'm not using Webb. I ain't doing it. I'm going to use...
He's probably going to be like 25% owned, I would guess. He is the best player in terms of what?
If someone uses Jason Day, they're insane. That's crazy.
I could see, ownership percentages will be interesting. Thagala will be owned. Howell will be owned for sure. Probably Stallings, since he's played well here. I could see Nick Hardy getting some love. Obviously, Hadwin's going to get some love, which is stupid. And then definitely Webb. I mean,
what is Stallings' track record? I kind of like him. I'm
gonna three top 20s his last 5 tries here, including a 5th.
He's got this weird thing going on with his approach, though. I don't know what to do.
Well, he also keeps going like good, bad, good, bad. He's 25th miscut, 4th miscut, 8th. Like he's probably gonna miss the cut.
Yeah, but
his track record would suggest that he can't have 2 good weeks in a row.
Average strokes gained by round difficulty. He loses strokes in average and difficulty, and is gains by like 1 million on easy. Scott Stallings does. So this is where he like thrives and makes his money.
Definitely.
It might be. This is where you got to. I'm interested. I think I'm going to lean towards Scott Stallings, but I'm going to look at it tonight, I guess.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards Webb, with the outside chance that Howell could be involved. And there's like a super outside chance that I can just take a Nick Hardy shot in the dark and hope that he wins.
What about McNeely?
Nope. He hasn't finished better than 32nd since in like 11 weeks.
Yeah, I don't want that either.
Decent finish here last year though, and he can get super hot with the putter too. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if he popped, but right. I don't know.
NBA draft. Immediate reactions, or what was your kind of like? Who won the draft for you? Who do you think performed well? We obviously don't know because it's hard to tell on guys, but like, who do you think acted well?
Well, like the team that got the luckiest was Detroit. I think. I mean, I'm not like the biggest Jaden Ivey guy, but like they were probably pumped. But I said the same thing about Suggs last year. I was a Suggs guy, or I figured Orlando had to be pumped, but he wasn't very good
at the end of the year. He was going okay, so it could be okay.
I thought that, and Detroit because they got Duren. I'm not a huge Duren guy because I just don't think big guys help you, but they didn't give up much to get him. And he's like everybody, all the guys who actually know what they're talking about seem to like him. He's a freako, so I don't know. Obviously, I think the Thunder did well just because they gave up nothing and they got to pick 3 times in the top 12. That's always obviously you're trying to get as many shots as you can.
Yeah.
The Warriors got a super talented guy who's probably a head case with like the 30th pick, so that's always, I'd be nervous if I was other teams and they got a guy who was a top 5 prospect or top 10 recruit on their team for nothing. He probably won't work out, but he's ginormous.
Yeah, I like the kid, the Serbian that Miami took, the Jovic. The
Jokic knockoff.
Yeah, the Jokic knockoff. He doesn't play like Jokic, but hopefully he has that sort of developmental, shoot up like he does, because he can be awesome if he can actually end up making threes. I was interested. Did the Kings mess it up, or did the Kings actually take? Like, it
depends on the trade they had on the table. Obviously, a lot of people want an Ivy, so the move is probably to trade back. But like, if you're getting like just dog shit, like just stay there and pick whoever you want. I think Keegan Murray will be fine, but like I don't know if he's going to be. Like, I feel like Tobias Harris would be a great outcome for him.
Right. I like the Pacers Mathurin pick because I think him and Halliburton could be really deadly on the perimeter. I really like that. Mathurin,
both super smart guys who can do a bunch of stuff.
Arizona sneakily had 3 guys go so fast. Like, that was kind of crazy. I didn't know that big guy was going to go so quick. That was quite interesting. But yeah, I think you're right. As far as like who made the biggest pop, it was clearly Detroit. They have a chance if Ivy's good to have him and Cade on the perimeter, which is 2 wings of that size with that ability and that athletic, that speed and how tall they are. Especially with Cade's passing ability. Ivy's not really a passer, but those two running the break and then Cade, ball handling, pick and rolls, they got a chance at least. They're going to give themselves an opportunity to be better. That's a lot better than what they did, especially getting rid of Grant. That was like step 1, which was really nice. And then the next thing to talk about, my guy Shaden Sharp, who won us the bet, him, Dame, and Jeremy Grant. Is that better than him and CJ? No, right?
Anthony Simons is probably the second best player on that team, right? He averaged like 30 a game for like a month last year.
So Simons, him.
To me, this is like
Sharp, and
they're going to get 3 months in the season and realize like we fucking still suck. Let's trade Dame for a bajillion picks or whoever. I mean, I don't know what they're going to get, but I still believe in Shaden Sharp in terms of like pure talent. But the guy that I liked that he went like in a spot people thought was Agbaji from Kansas. I know he's not going to be amazing, but like he's tall as shit. He's like legit 6'7" or whatever he is. Shoots it really well. Awesome defender. Super smart. It's like those guys usually just work out. Like, could he be like slightly less athletic Desmond Bane? Probably. He can't score quite as efficiently, but like very good defender, really smart, makes threes. Like
he fits their mold as far as like smart.
He's like Isaac Okoro, who if he could shoot, like he's just walking in. He's like, but taller.
Yeah, Okoro might be like a little more athletically gifted.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think he fits their mold, especially their like young core, but yet he's got a little age in him. He's got some winning pedigree in him, makes shots. That obviously fits what they want to do. If he's decent and can play a decent – I mean, he could be like a Cam Johnson type impact for a team like that, especially if Mobley and Garland can kind of figure something out as far as a 1-2 punch that's like an actually legit team, duo that can win games in the East. But it'll be interesting. Kyrie opts in, obviously. Russell Westbrook opts in, obviously, because nobody else wants them. Why would they not opt in?
One other thing, Memphis. They've drafted super good, and they just went ahead and took 2 more, like, do-it-all, like, wing guys. Now, I think Roddy's probably not good, but they got Laravia and Roddy, and it was like, it's interesting. It's a trend developing. I mean, I assume that means Kyle Anderson's probably gone. Because you hope Laravia is kind of Kyle Anderson like, but They have a mold going, and they've drafted super good in the past. Like, it wouldn't shock me if all of a sudden it's like, damn, like they got 2 more wings who can like at least play, and now they still have 10. They're 10 deep with guys who are tall and can play basketball.
Yeah, I think they're going to be kind of riding the Jaren Jackson Jr. thing next year. I mean,
Hope to God that Jaren Jackson Jr. cross your fingers. He's awesome.
right. Ja is clearly going to be good, barring any injuries. And if they can go to the next level, I think it's going to be from JJJ because they got wings galore. Like they'll be fine, plugging and playing their wings. Other than that, it's just going to find another guy who can produce offensively because Ja can't just go one. Well, he kind of can, but he can't just ISO every single play and just run the break.
Did Kofi sign?
Kofi signed with the Jazz, a team that pays a center $40 million.
Yeah,
but he might not be on the team, so you never know. But no, but Big Ten wise, we didn't have a bunch of guys going in the first round because EJ and McGowan's ended up going in the second.
Branham dropped to Fuzz, went 20th.
But still,
that's not bad, but it's still good for him.
Still got a guys drafted. The Spurs end up taking him, which is kind of, that kid could be pretty good. That would be like one of the Spursy picks. Some tall shooter who ends up, being pretty good.
You would kind of hope he's like slightly less bouncy Lonnie White, like probably better shooter than Lonnie White.
Lonnie Walker, Derek White.
Lonnie Walker, sorry.
Forbes, style role for them they kind of propelled him. But yeah, interesting draft. We have an F1 race also this weekend.
Silverstone.
Max Verstappen is minus 105, and I don't actually hate it.
Max Verstappen's potential father-in-law is just slinging the N-word around, and Lewis Hamilton's everyone's having to condemn him.
Oh,
did you see this?
No, I did not see this.
He's a former F1 like multiple-time champion, Pico, or I don't know how you pronounce his name, but Verstappen dates his daughter. Verstappen dates his daughter, and apparently last year after the wreck, like he was like racial slurring the shit out of Verstappen on some radio show, and like hasn't really backed off or apologized for it. So Verstappen, obviously, a bunch of people were condemning him. Now Verstappen's like in this weird spot. He's probably gonna be asked about it 100 times this weekend.
Wait, so why was he saying this?
I think he's racist. I don't know.
Interesting. I didn't know about that, but I still like him to win at minus 105 because
it's
a guy who just wins every race. I wouldn't venture out much more than that besides maybe George at 12. I don't mind if something wonky is going to happen. Lewis at 9 is a little bit priced weird.
Intriguing because this is the race that this is his race, his home race.
Right, but I think if you're going to take a Mercedes, you take the 12 because it's his chances of winning at 12 are the same as Lewis.
He's only beat him once all season.
Right, so I think you just take the 12 over that and just shut your eyes and don't worry about the name on the back or on the helmet. Other than that, there's not much to do besides maybe do a podium bet. I could maybe look up that.
No, I mean
George Russell's 2 podium. That's still not very good value though.
Yeah. All right. I think that's enough for me. Be careful. Save your money till next week. It's gonna be fun. The Scottish and the Open is obviously weird because of all the time difference. But it's cool to see different golf on some really good golf courses. And we're gonna get 2 sick fields back to back. So go have fun at 4th of July party this weekend and kind of let golf just go be in the background. So
yeah, I'm gonna go light, but I'm gonna still put up my card just to try to
we'll take some shots in the dark and see what happens.
But I'm gonna take it light enough to where if I get murdered, it won't be like terrible. So that's good, and then we'll see you next week.
All right, peace out.